Pete Davidson and his girlfriend, Elsie Hewitt, have just revealed one of the most intimate and life-changing moments of their relationship. They're expecting their first child together. The announcement, which quickly captured headlines and ignited a wave of reactions across social media, came just a few short months after the couple publicly debuted their romance. It marks a significant milestone for both individuals, especially for Davidson, whose life has long been under a harsh and often invasive media spotlight. At 31, the once hard-partying comedian and Saturday Night Live alum is stepping into fatherhood with the kind of sincerity and groundedness that fans and critics alike are finding refreshingly authentic. The big reveal wasn't delivered through a carefully curated press release or a glossy magazine feature. Instead, it was intimate, candid, and uniquely on-brand for Davidson. In a shirtless photo that immediately went viral, Pete is seen gently cradling Elsie's growing baby bump. The caption accompanying the photo was cheeky, irreverent, and perfectly, "Pete, welp, now everyone knows we had sex." In just a few words, Davidson managed to strike that delicate balance between humor and vulnerability, a trait that has long defined his public persona. What might have seemed like a throwaway joke to some, in reality, carried layers of complexity, vulnerability, and joy. It was a celebration, a confession, a deeply personal moment shared with the world, not because they had to, but because they wanted to. Accompanying the announcement were additional images that painted a fuller picture of the couple's joy. In one, the pair dressed in coordinated white outfits are seen embracing, smiling, and sharing a quiet moment that feels more like a still from a romantic drama than a celebrity announcement. Another showed a scan of their unborn child, a grainy ultrasound image that's already taken on deep emotional meaning for them. Yet another photo captured the couple during an actual ultrasound appointment, with Elsie lying back, a visible bump on display, and Pete holding her hand with a look that blended awe, protectiveness, and the disbelief that often comes with life-altering news. This joyful moment follows a challenging chapter for Hewitt. Just 2 months prior, she had spoken openly in an interview with DailyMail.com about undergoing surgery for endometriosis, a painful and often debilitating condition that affects roughly 10% of women globally. Endometriosis occurs when tissue similar to the lining of the uterus grows outside of it, often affecting the ovaries, fallopian tubes, and the tissue lining the pelvis. The condition can lead to severe pain, especially during menstruation, and can also significantly impact fertility. For many women, endometriosis is not only physically exhausting but emotionally draining. Elsie's candor in discussing her battle with the condition was a brave step toward normalizing conversations about women's health, especially those conditions that are still so often misunderstood or ignored by the broader public. In that interview, she opened up about the profound difference the surgery had made in her life, saying, "I feel so much better, it's actually insane." She wasn't just talking about physical relief. She was describing an emotional and psychological rebirth. The chronic pain she had carried for so long was finally beginning to lift, and she credited much of her healing journey to the unwavering support of her partner, Pete Davidson. "He takes very good care of me," she added, a sentiment that may surprise those who still only associate Pete with his chaotic tabloid history. "He has all the heating pads, all the water bottles ready to go, feeds me. It's very sweet." That moment of vulnerability, shared with such honesty, revealed a softer side of Davidson, one that rarely gets the same airtime as his controversies. For Pete Davidson, this pregnancy is not just a new chapter, it's a legacy moment. Nearly 24 years ago, Pete's world was shattered when his father, Scott Davidson, a New York City firefighter, died in the terrorist attacks on September 11, 2001. Scott was only 33 years old at the time, and Pete was just a boy trying to understand a loss that would come to define so much of his life. Scott was responding to the Marriott World Trade Center, also known as World Trade Center 3, a 22-story hotel nestled between the Twin Towers. While the hotel wasn't directly hit by the planes, it was completely destroyed in the collapse of the towers. The trauma of that day never left Pete, and it has shaped not just his comedy, but his mental health, relationships, and worldview. In many ways, Pete's journey toward fatherhood represents a full-circle moment. He's spoken candidly about the grief he still carries, about the years he spent trying to numb it with humor, substances, and sometimes self-destruction. Getting sober last year was a significant turning point. It wasn't just about abstaining from substances, it was about reclaiming agency over his own narrative, his mental health, and his future. His relationship with Elsie appears to have played a pivotal role in this transformation. While their romance is still relatively new, having gone public in March 2025, there's a sense of calm and intentionality about their union that sets it apart from many of Pete's high-profile relationships in the past, unlike some of his previous romances, many of which burned brightly in the press. Before quickly fizzling out, his bond with Elsie has unfolded more quietly, more privately. The couple hasn't chased headlines. They've avoided red carpet PDA and publicized couple interviews. Until now, much of their relationship has existed out of the spotlight, by design. But in recent weeks, they've begun to open up just a little. Last month, Elsie shared a carousel of images showing the couple celebrating the 4th of July together. The photos weren't posed or performative. They were soft, sweet, and real. Pete smiling with his arm around her. Elsie looking at him like he's the funniest and safest place in the world. The decision to live together came shortly before that holiday weekend, and sources close to the couple say it was a natural next step in their evolving relationship. It wasn't rushed. It wasn't impulsive. It was the product of long conversations, shared goals, and the kind of mutual respect that's often rare in Hollywood pairings. And now, with a baby on the way, they're entering yet another chapter, one that will test, stretch, and ultimately define them. Davidson's transformation from a self-described mess to a soon-to-be father is nothing short of remarkable. His comedic career has always walked the tightrope between hilarity and heartbreak. On Saturday Night Live, he was the guy who could make a joke about trauma and make you laugh while also forcing you to confront the heaviness of it. In his stand-up routines, he's spoken openly about mental illness, depression, and suicidal ideation, topics that many comedians avoid, but Pete embraced because it was his truth. That honesty made him relatable, even lovable, to fans who saw in him a mirror of their own struggles. But it also made him vulnerable to criticism, especially during the darker phases of his life. His romantic life, too, has often been the subject of scrutiny. He's dated some of the most famous women in the world, from Ariana Grande to Kim Kardashian, relationships that were so public, so dissected, they often seemed to become more about celebrity gossip than about two people trying to make something work. But with Elsie, things feel different. She's not using the spotlight to build a brand. She's not capitalizing on his fame. If anything, she's helped him step away from the noise, from the pressure, from the chaos that once defined him. Their shared history now includes more than love. It includes healing. For Elsie, it's physical healing after years of silently suffering through endometriosis. For Pete, it's emotional healing after years of grief, addiction, and instability. Their baby will be born into a home that understands pain but also understands resilience. A home where humor is not just entertainment but therapy. Where vulnerability is not a weakness but a strength, as the couple prepares to welcome their child this winter. Sources close to them say they are thrilled to become parents. That one word, thrilled, carries weight. It's not just excitement, it's gratitude, it's awe. It's a quiet defiance against all the odds that were stacked against them. For Pete, it's a chance to do what his father didn't get to raise a child. Teach them how to laugh, protect them fiercely, and love them unconditionally. The public reaction to the pregnancy announcement has been largely positive, a sign that perhaps the world is beginning to see Pete Davidson not just as the comic, the celebrity, the headline, but as a man who has fought to become better, who has grown into someone worthy of the life he's building. For Elsie, the support has been a testament to her strength, her openness, and the quiet courage it takes to share your truth when the world is watching.